You guys know how Westerners love to talk about how they're not like the other countries because they have a free press. They have a free press, right? It's not repressed. It can just say whatever it wants. It doesn't do anything on behalf of the government. It's a true free press. There's 100% real journalistic integrity. It's 100% not just effectively an element of pushing the exact same politics, policies, etc. that the rich want because they are in control of the state in the first place. And obviously, to own media, you need to be rich. Ergo, the media is all owned by the rich. The state is effectively pushed to do what it does by the rich, so they're all aligned anyway. Wow, who could have thought that's the case? But that's actually not the case, according to Westerners. It's not. It's not at all. There's a free press. It reports freely and independently. It is not beholden to the interests of anyone in particular. It's all just 100% organic and free. Anyway, so did you know that Bellingcat just worked with the New York Times to track down someone who leaked classified US military documents and just openly published his identity so that he could get arrested, and then he was immediately arrested? Isn't that crazy? So like the New York Times, the extremely independent, 100% independent press, definitely not existing 100% on behalf of and for billionaires. You know, the people who are supposedly, at least in the way that they are like sold, supposed to be like, you know, there to keep power to account, there to keep the state to account, literally did detective work on behalf of the state, tracked down this fucking guy. So Bellingcat, funded by the US state, and that just so happens to do work on behalf of US geopolitical interests 100% of the time, posted this. Bellingcat's Eric Toller worked with the New York Times to uncover a trail of digital evidence that appears to identify Jack Tejera, a 21-year-old Air National Guardsman, as the leader of an online gaming chat group where US intelligence documents leaked. This was at 1:12 p.m. my time. 2 hours 40 minutes after that, the FBI arrested Jack Tejera, an Air National Guardsman, in a leak of US documents revealing Ukraine war secrets. So, what happened here? The US media literally did detective work on behalf of the US state to track down someone who leaked classified documents and get him arrested. That's what this is. That is absolutely fucking insane. So, the American media, you know, who are there to keep the powerful to account, there to make sure that democracy doesn't die in darkness. The second that US geopolitical interests are threatened by some leaks, they literally track down the fucking leaker, just publicly report it, and get him arrested. Now, how is this not just state media? How, you know, what's the difference? Their interests are clearly completely aligned. They're clearly basically just working together on this. And obviously this guy had really fucking terribly pathetic OPSEC, but it's still, you know, it's not like just because, you know, he left ways for them to figure out who he was, it justifies fucking supposed journalist tracking him down, finding who he was, and then just openly publishing it so that he can get arrested immediately. They literally did investigative police work on behalf of the fucking US military. Absolutely insane. Like, anyone who leaks classified US imperial documents is doing a good thing. So the fact that they like immediately took to trying to track him down really shows pretty much 100% that their interests are just completely aligned with the US state. So US media is state media just as much as China Daily is state media. Wait, no, they didn't just find out his identity. They find out his identity, then they went to his house and they waited outside for him and approached him. Oh, wow. That's fucking insane. That's absolutely fucking insane. Even if the guy's a fucking idiot, even if he did it all wrong, this is just absolutely fucking crazy. So the US media isn't there to, like, you know, help leakers, to help reveal state secrets that are being kept from the public, that are within their interest to know. The US media is there to make sure that doesn't happen, to punish anyone who does it, and to make sure that anyone who thinks about doing it knows that if they try, they're not going to have anyone on their side. This is about as much state media as you could possibly fucking imagine. They just straight up work with the US state to protect the interests of the US state. Go to New York Times with some leaks and don't worry, they'll report you to the FBI right quick. It's like the exact fucking opposite of what actual real independent media would be. You got like supposed like anarchists. I mean, these are just like Bellingcat, like US state agents, basically. They're not anarchists, but they like to frame themselves as like as left as you should be permitted to be. Like Robert Evans, absolutely just straight up fed someone who works with the US state in order to defend the interests of the US state. What's he doing? Celebrating. This guy is so fucked, absolutely hysterical. Retweeting like people being like, credit to where it's due for the people who tracked down this nefarious evil person who leaked secret US imperial documents to the public. Credit where it's due. This is just the fucking right-wing US imperialist, and it's hilarious that these people are like held up as like paragons of American leftism. Your leftists are right-wingers. Holy shit, this guy is like, supports pretty much every single US geopolitical position while still somehow trying to frame himself as like a left-wing anarchist, anti-authoritarian type guy. And so many people fucking buy it. And like the US media tracks down a leaker on behalf of the US state, gets them fucking arrested, thrown into prison for 100 years. And his reaction is, he's so fucked, absolutely hysterical. Is insane. They are absolutely like, if there's anyone who has ever like radiated more Fed energy, who has radiated like incredibly obvious amounts of Fed energy, it's like the whole Bellingcat crew, and especially this guy. Like, their whole thing is to try and frame outright supporting US geopolitical positions as somehow nuanced and left-wing. And when it comes down to it, they cannot fucking help themselves from expressing joy at the fact that people who have done something inconvenient for US imperialism are getting what they would consider to be their just desserts. This is state media, and in this case, these guys are more than likely straight up paid by the state. In Robert Evans' case, we know that he was paid by the state because he fucking admitted it. He said that he had worked with federal agents. Hi, I should have made this clearer earlier. I will now. I have worked with feds. I have worked with foreign special forces. He works with feds. And I mean, this is just the extent of what he's comfortable admitting publicly. If he's comfortable admitting this publicly, imagine what else he doesn't admit publicly. Guy fucking celebrating like a leaker of documents from the world's worst fucking empire being arrested. High-fiving the people who tracked him down on behalf of the US state and gave him the leads they needed to get him arrested. Absolutely fucking insane, absurd. This is why I say the US left isn't going to accomplish anything. Because the like public faces of the US left that most people are funneled into is that sort of person. 90% of people who in the US who believe that they are like on the left and against power and all of those things, they're like basically Bellingcat aligned. Even if they don't even know what Bellingcat is, their opinions are like basically the same, because that's where you get funneled into. That's just how the whole propaganda apparatus works. They've got it down to a science. So yeah, average American left. What else could I have expected than for them to support a leaker just outright getting fucked for life, than to them just outright helping the US government track the leaker down? Amazing journalism, truly independent journalism. Democracy truly does die in darkness.